Do. That's pretty good. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Rewatchers Council. Adelia, nice to see you. Welcome back.
I'm glad to be back.
Okay, so, you know what else? It's
But
not only you just joining us this week. This week,
it's not.
we have returning a council member in good standing, I might add, Adelia.
Mm-hmm.
Councilman at large? Maybe that's another way to say it.
A
Anyways,
good way to say it?
the guy who definitely knows more about everything than me, Councilman Brennan Mars with us. Brennan, how you doing?
Hello. Good. I don't think I know more about everything
Highly
than
disagree.
you.
Highly disagree. I
Well,
think, yeah. You know more about
I'll take it.
Star
I'll take
Wars,
the compliment.
Star Trek, probably this show,
Yeah.
probably lots of things. So there you go. That's the only three things you really care about,
Mm-hmm.
guys. Innocence,
Mm.
classic, absolute classic. So I found out a couple of things about this. Let's just start from the beginning stuff. This original air date, January 20th, 1998, ideally.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
This time written and directed by the showrunner here. The number one movie, Titanic. The number one U.S. song, Truly Madly Deeply.
Still,
Oh,
no?
wow.
Still, the number one UK song, Never Ever.
Okay.
And the number one song in Canada was once again Back to You.
Mm-hmm.
If that sounds incredibly similar to last week's, it's because it's the exact same, but it's because the last episode was aired January 19th, 1998.
Oh,
Oh
So they
yeah, these were
two,
back-to-back
2 days
days.
back to back.
yeah,
Wow.
Surprise was on, and then they just said, we'll just throw out Innocence the next day. I guess they were moving everything from a Monday night to a Tuesday night.
So they didn't have to wait an entire week?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
my goodness.
what happens is it becomes the most watched episode of Buffy ever.
Mm.
This is everything. It all viewership goes downhill from here. Not the show though, not the show, but the viewership. Yeah, it really had a good lead in. You know, only having to wait one day for such a huge cliffhanger in the show to get resolved. Yeah, the WB and its wisdom figured, oh yeah, we've got something good here on Tuesday nights. And never really managed much after that. About the kept an even keel, had the same, never garnered more viewers, but you know, I don't know why they changed it to Tuesdays of all days. Anyways, DVD synopsis time. I know this is Adelia's favorite part of the show. Buffy must battle not only the judge, but also Angel, guys, who has lost his soul after experiencing a moment of true happiness.
If you know what I mean.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
wink,
Right.
you know what I mean. Now, the episode starts, of course, is written by the two episodes written by two different people, directed by two different people. Starts off though in the exact same kind of spot. Actually, we see Drew and Spike. Drew's assuring Spike that Angel won't come back after them, and Spike doesn't seem too, thrilled with the judge preparing himself, walking around super slow. But we get a little vision again from fair Drusilla. Gives herself a little bit of a smile. Like she knows that something's up. You know what I mean? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Poor Buffy, wakes up in the Angel's bed. Now he's still in that alleyway, writhing around in pain. And then a smoking lady notices him and goes checks on him. She asks if he's okay and if she should call 911. You remember? He tells her no. The pain is gone, Adelia.
Mm-hmm.
She takes a drag, asks us to be sure. That's when he gets all fat faced, bites her, and then blows a cigarette out. You know what? Anatomically speaking, I don't think that was quite possible.
I don't
Unless
think so either. That was my exact thought when I was watching this. I was like, that makes no sense.
Isn't it that vampires don't have a breath?
Well, there's that as well. Well, I guess they could draw. Maybe they could draw it in. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah. Again, the rules on this are very wishy-washy in this show. One thing I will say, he drained her incredibly fast. Like, it was within seconds, and there was no more of her. Anyways, he says he feels just fine after that. So we get the big heel turn here, guys, in wrestling parlance. Angel has turned into Angelus. So I guess we should refer to him as Angelus now. Not good. Also, I will say, David Boreanaz is much better, I think, as Angelus than Angel.
Yeah.
But
I'd agree.
He's a pretty inexperienced actor at this point, and it's a lot easier. Like, also in wrestling parlance, it's much easier to be a heel than a babyface. You draw heat way easier as a bad guy. But he really seemed to like being the bad guy here. Anyways, Buffy does her walk of shame. She does the walk of shame back home. Her mom still thinks she was at Will's. They did what was it called again? What was that thing called again? What was it? Rover or something like that? I can't remember.
Something like that.
Ugh, yeah. Anyways, she thinks something's up with her too, but Buffy denies anything's wrong, of course. Then goes to school, jumps in the shower, so her mom can drive her to school. Again, she had school in the morning, guys, because she had just turned 17 years old. I'm going to mention that again until I run out of breath.
This is a very awkward birthday.
She doesn't have poor Buffy. She never has the best luck on her birthday. Who is it that knows? I think it's Spike that mentions it later on. Maybe you should just stay home on your birthday. Anyways, we go to the library. The Scoobs have assembled, and they haven't had any luck finding any more judge boxes, I guess. Xander, though, does seem to have had a lovely time at the bus depot.
Sure.
Giles believes that the judge has been assembled already, and Buffy has yet to check in, which isn't great. Xander's ready to go storm Drusilla's place because, he's very confident, I guess. He's very brave, maybe more brave than smart sometimes. Cordy and Giles reason that if Buffy and Angel had failed, what could they do? Which is, reasonable. Willow has his back though. Says, that's our buddy. Let's go save her. But of course, Buffy shows up just as they decide they're going to do that. Willow makes a point of saying that only some of them were willing to go save her, which I thought was, pretty pointed at her. You know what I mean? Not great. And then they find out they haven't heard from Angel either. She fills him in that the judge is active, which I thought was a bizarre thing to say at that time.
That's weird. A weird way to phrase it.
Yeah, the judge is active right now. Giles tells her that the judge must be stopped, guys. Obviously.
That might be the most obvious line stated in this entire episode.
Now, Buffy has a history of just deciding to let the bad guys go at the end of the episode, but this time she can't. This time he's got to be stopped. Now, they have to go to class while he does his research. So everybody knows that there's this guy. He's bent on destroying everybody worthy in the world. Buffy's had a night, probably a night she won't forget for various reasons, I would imagine. And while all this is going on, they're told, just go back to class.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to happen in the next 7 hours, guys. Nothing's going to happen during history class. Anyways, but Buffy is still, a little worried. And Angel seems to be, well, I think she thinks he's ghosting. This is a matter of hours afterwards. You know what I mean? And he had disappeared. So Spike checks in on a very happy looking Drusilla. She's been naming all the stars the same name for some reason. It makes it easier.
Yeah. Causes confusion though.
A little bit, but it keeps you from remembering a whole bunch of names. I think it would be
Mhm.
pretty simple if all the stars were just called Starry Boy or something like that. That'd make it easy enough for me. Uh, yeah. Spike then also points out that she's inside and it's daytime. So I don't know. Like, it's always so strange. Like, you'd figure vampires sleep during the day, right? I guess maybe it's just not a thing or whatever where they have to go to sleep during the day. It's just when they
Yeah.
prefer to sleep, I suppose. I don't know. Anyways, he asks if she's seen what happens to Angel, and on cue, here comes Angel. At first, he's pretending to be I guess the cursed angel, the angel we've all come to know and love, Brendan. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But Spike gets very smug and says, "Oh, we got this guy here, whatever." The judge arrives, and he's gonna burn Angel into oblivion. But while he's touching him, he says it itches. You know, judge says there's no humanity left in him, which took not long at all. It took as long as the humanity to go out of Angel as it did to drain that poor smoking lady. Also,
Mhm.
guys, just don't smoke. I think that's the message of the show. It makes you like vampires can swallow you alive in seconds. Anyways,
Mhm.
Angel then does the smile and says that he's back. He's back, Adelia. So Drew and Spike are quite pleased by this. But if becoming a bloodthirsty, monstrous vampire isn't bad enough. Yeah, also, Angel's a smoker now. He likes smoke. I don't
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
took him. The dangers of smoking here, guys. All it takes is just one. All it takes is one. So now, maybe for some people, one strike's enough. I don't know. Beats me. Spike tells him he was sick to his stomach, seeing him as the Slayer's lapdog, which is fun. Which is fun to think of. If I'm having a Drew vision into the future, it's fun to think of what Spike thought of Angel here. Yeah. Angel gives him a nice big smooch on the forehead. Then Drew lets him in on their whole.
It's a great meme. It's a
Mhm.
great meme.
Yeah. Then sorry. Drew lets them in on the whole Armageddon idea. Seems more interested in the Slayer. He's about downsizing a little bit. He just wants to take care of the Slayer part first. Spike rightly does though point out that she is actually in the world, so destroying the world would in fact destroy the Slayer at the same time. But Angel wants a chance to break her down first, a la someone in the room, Adelia, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
And this is all because she had the audacity to make him feel like a human being.
I mean, what a shame. Why
I
would
wish
anyone want to feel like a human being?
I wish I could feel like a human being sometimes. You know what I mean?
Well,
Anyway,
Canada.
it's highly overrated. Okay, so the Scoobies are back at the library now. Willow's talking to Buffy on the phone. Willow lets her know that they haven't heard from Angel yet, and then tries to assure her that he isn't dead. I do like the "say hi for me" from Xander there.
Yeah.
Always a little something from Xander. We find out Buffy roughed up poor Willie the Snitch off
A
camera.
couple of times.
Yeah, for some Angel info. To no avail here, guys. Xander goes to find and yet another book on the judge. Sees Cordy in the stacks.
As soon as he found Cordelia back there, I was like, oh god, they're gonna get caught now.
Yeah, if we had like the dramatic music, that's when it would come down.
I mean, everybody who ever watched a teen soap opera, you knew exactly what was coming.
Yeah, so he apologized for being a jerk to her. Cordy asks if he'd ever die for her, like he would for Buffy. He tells her he might die from her. So there's always still the back and
What
forth.
on earth kind of line is that, Xander? Like, come on.
Romantic? It's obviously romantic, Adelia. Anyway, they start kissing, you know. But good news, Willow doesn't see them at all. Yeah. Just kidding. Of course Willow sees them kissing. What's the first rule of the show, Adelia? Do not hurt
do
Willow.
not hurt Willow.
Do not hurt
and also,
Willow.
go through Willow. Don't go through Cordy. She's too much trouble.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I mean, if it had been me, Willow would have been the one.
So she says she knew something was up, and then reminds him that it's against the laws of God and man.
That was very funny.
Then reminds him that he's the treasurer of the We Hate Cordelia Club.
Just very funny as well.
Yes. Xander tells her that, they were just kidding. It didn't mean that much. And then Will just decides to eviscerate not only Xander, but everybody watching at the same time. And just says that, it just means that you'd rather be with someone you hate than be with me. Then runs off again. Yeah. Xander didn't follow her this time, though. He didn't go running out. He let her have her space, which is probably smart.
Xander knew. Following Willow right now, not a good idea.
Not a good idea, guys. Guys, not a good idea. So we see Buffy again. This time she's back at Angel's. He's there, shirtless again. You know.
They do like to have David Boreanaz be shirtless.
Yeah, he's wandering around his apartment in the daytime with his shirt off. He tells her that, he's only just been around, and she wants to know why he took off. Not his shirt, why he left his apartment. He says, like I really wanted to stick around after that.
He's so cruel in this scene.
Yes. Next thing he infers is that that night wasn't very special for him, because he's done this before. She wants to know if it's because of her. He laughs in her face. She asks her why he's saying this to her. He tells her to lighten up and don't make it a big deal. And that he should have known she couldn't handle it. I wonder why she couldn't have handled it. Maybe she was a child. Maybe she was a child. That's what you're saying. Maybe you were a gross old man and she's a child.
And this is creepy considering how old he is.
Yes.
It makes it even creepier than if he had been much closer to her age. It's so creepy, and it's so gross to even think about this looking back on it in retrospect.
Yeah. So he goes to touch her, and then she pulls away and says, "Don't touch me." And he starts laughing again. She finally tells him that she loves him. I think this is the first time she says that to him in this entire series. He says it back pretty sarcastically. That's the thing. And tells her he'll call her and leave.
Yeah, I have a question about Angel's apartment that I noticed when Buffy was waking up at the beginning of this episode. Why is there a window that you could see the reflected rain in through?
Yeah, you're exactly right. And he's walking around with his shirt on.
Yeah.
In that room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, guys, sometimes we have to let it go.
Sometimes you just go with it. But that was not very good production design.
It would be pretty easy. You'd think it'd be easier just to have a cinder block wall. You know what I mean? You can put it up in seconds, cost nothing. Anyways, we head back. So Yana is now being schooled. I'm calling Jenny Yana because she is talking with her uncle. Being schooled on what vengeance means here, guys. He says that it's a living thing. I always almost try and do the accent. I shouldn't do that, though. This is a living thing that passes through generations. It commands. It kills, guys. And Jenny tries to tell him that it's the Hellmouth's fault that she couldn't control Angel. It's always somebody else's fault. Her uncle then reminds her and us of this weirdly contrived curse that Angel had.
Not a very well thought out curse.
It was not great. Not great.
No.
Yeah. Anyways, somehow he knows the curse has been lifted. So I don't know if this guy has some special powers or if he had like a beeper. I have no idea. So Jenny gets a little upset because people are going to die. Uncle Enyos lets her know that it's not justice, but vengeance they serve. And then
this is the dumbest curse.
Yeah, it's terrible. And
somebody
you want
should have written out like a moment of happiness. Okay.
Yeah, that's
a little bit too easy.
Yeah,
a moment of happiness will turn him back into the monster we cursed him to stop him being. It makes no sense.
Makes no sense. Like if someone gave him a nice present.
It's weird because he has been happy before.
Yeah,
but I guess they meant something else.
It's true happiness.
I guess they meant something else entirely.
Ridiculous. Anyways, we'll go back to the school, and Xander and Willow are talking. She lets them know that things aren't okay with them. Good for her. But what's happening is more important. They reiterate that no weapon forged can defeat the judge. They're going to keep reiterating this. So Xander's brain starts formulating a plan. I'd love to see him go through the steps.
I got a little nervous when Xander's like, I have a thought.
Yeah.
Oh, now I have a plan. What could this possibly be?
He's like he starts agreeing with it. Yeah. I love it. Anyways, so the lights go out on these guys, and then poof, they turn, and Angel calls out to them. He has something to show them. He says. Now, Xander,
I want to know when I can tell that he's got the vamp face on. How could they standing there not tell that he had the vamp?
Maybe we had better light. We had better light at the time.
We had better eyesight.
Yeah, well, that's true too. Yes. So he calls Willow. He tells Xander to run off, get the others, and then calls Willow over. But Xander he stops about halfway. I'm imagining because he didn't go very far. Then Jenny shows up, crucifix in hand, and tells Willow to get out of the way. Angel, of course, grabs her by the throat, and if I had a board for that, it would be filled by now, Adelia. It's a classic Buffy the Vampire Slayer throat grasp thing or whatever.
Yeah. And nobody hurts Willow when I'm around.
That's right.
Willow's my celebrity crush.
So, Xander shows up just to say, don't do that.
Yeah, what did Xander think that was going to accomplish?
Yeah, all right. Jenny explains that it's not Angel anymore. He contradicts her. He says, no, it finally is him. And that he has a message for Buffy. But fortunately, Buffy appears. He lets her know the message is finding the dead bodies of all her friends. It's not a great message.
No.
I prefer, just to say, hey, what's up? Just checking in. Much better than, I'm going to kill all your friends for you. No deal. Anyways, Buffy tries reasoning with him, trying to find his inner goodness. But he ain't having it, guys. So he is too distracted by thoughts of what he's going to do to know that Xander has snuck up with the crucifix, thrusting it in front of his face, releasing Willow. Thank goodness for that. He grabs Buffy.
So Xander actually did something right for once. Okay.
He does things right every once in a blue moon. He has his moments. He grabs, Angel grabs Buffy, kisses her, tells her things are about to get very interesting. I agree. And then throws her to the ground, which is not great, and leaves. So we have Angel calling out the Scoobies already. Now, We go back to the library. Giles gets filled in on what happened. He's a little panicked. First, he says now it's for the judge, and now Angel. Of course, Buffy starts blaming herself. Jenny asks Buffy if didn't or asked if Buffy didn't know he turned bad. When real Willow realizes, how did you? That Jenny had told her to get away from him. Jenny claims she saw his face, guys. Baloney. I just want you guys to remember it. Baloney. Just to make Buffy feel worse, Giles wants to know how and what set this off.
Yeah. This was uncomfortable.
Yeah, he wants to know if anything happened the night prior. This sets Buffy
Willow
off.
figures it out.
Yeah, she always figures this out. Buffy runs off. Cordy believes that they've hit bottom before Xander announces that he has a plan, making a new bottom for her.
Yeah.
So he has a plan to deal with the judge, but needs Cordelia's help.
Mm-hmm.
This made Willow seem a little overjoyed, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah.
She was in for this, but he'll also need wheels, so Willow volunteers as Oz's van, which is nice. Then we learn to start with, Cordy will need to meet them at Willow's wearing something trashier
than this, he says, as though Cordelia was wearing something trashy at that moment.
Yeah, she was fine. She was covered almost head to toe.
Yeah. I
don't get it. Anyways, Giles believes he can imagine what Buffy's going through. Intuitive Willow says, no, he can't imagine. Anyways, we go back to the factory, guys. All the way back. Angel lets them know what he did and that he didn't kill her. Spike reminds them of what vampires do. But Drew knows that he wants to drive her mad, just like what happened to her. Also, that when he says that thing or whatever, where he didn't kill her, it just really did remind me of Dr. Evil. That bit or whatever. It's like, you just, like when he's talking to Scott or whatever, it's just, you just don't get it, do you? You don't. Anyways, Spike isn't impressed, but Angel gets agitated and reminds him that he's failed to kill her before with force. So instead, maybe he'll try and kill her with love, which seems like a nice thing. Except the end product is the same, and that's being killed, which isn't great.
Yeah.
So we see Buffy get to her room. She sees that silver cross that Angel still, I say, somehow gave her. I don't know how he still managed to do it. Anyways, takes the clatter ring off, and I noticed Adelia that it was on her left hand. So with the ring pointed at her, that did mean that in the eyes of Ireland or something like that, they're married.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Weird.
Yes. Anyways, this is where Buffy finally can't take it anymore and breaks down. Also, I didn't even mention
felt really bad for Buffy in that moment.
It was a great David Boreanaz episode, but it's a terrific Sarah Michelle Gellar episode.
Yeah, they were both great in this episode.
So she starts dreaming again. This time it's of her and Angel's night together. She says, or he says, I love you, then gets fat-faced. Then they're at that daytime funeral. Angel tells her she knows, she has to know what to see, for whatever that means. She then sees Jenny pull back a veil. Once again, Jenny involved in a Slayer dream for her. Then she wakes up and then, goes to school.
She's on a mission at school.
I was going to say, she looks a little determined. I think that's a nice way.
Little.
Yeah. She finds Jenny. Some reason Giles is also in the classroom. Classroom is populated. Like he's just visiting her during class time. Goes over, grabs Jenny. Where do you think Now, guys, trivia time. Where do you think Buffy grabs Jenny?
Hmm.
I wonder.
Yeah, grabs her by the throat. There's no other body part to grab anybody by, it seems. So she wants to know what she knows. Giles tells her, "Hey, kids, class is over. Don't worry about it." Uh, Buffy finally gets her to fess up. She admits that she was there to keep an eye on Angel for her people. The Calderash people, and to make sure that he paid for what he did. So stupid, guys.
It's beyond dumb.
Yeah, this is not a great curse. Anyways, Buffy wants to know what she's paying for, which is cool. Jenny claims she didn't know what would happen until after, and when Buffy says it was her own fault, Jenny says, "I think so." Ooh, Jenny.
Yeah.
What an asshole. Anyway, she explains to Giles the curse, and with a look from Buffy, understands how he achieved a moment's happiness. So Giles finally gets it.
It took Giles long enough to get there.
Yeah, it took Giles a minute.
It will lead to later on to maybe one of Anthony Stewart Head's best performances in the entire show. A little later on. Anyway, so Buffy wants him cursed again, but Jenny claims those spells are lost. Buffy wants to be brought to someone who may know how. Unfortunately, Angel is visiting, during the day. It's night now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's night
now. Timeline is very weird in this episode. Like,
yeah, it's not great. So it's night now, and although it was only supposed to be a half hour from the last time we saw them, I guess it's better late than never for Xander, Cordy, Willow, and good old Oz as they drive up to a military base.
Yeah.
Yet another thing. Put more population for the city of Sunnydale. It has a military base there.
Oh, it'll get more interesting later.
It may not. Yes, it may not. It may not be a very big one though. There seems to be one regular fence. Also, it looks like it's just at the Bronx. Yes,
it does.
That other size of the Bronx. Yeah. Anyways, Xander tells Willow and Oz to look for an open window and a package lured from it. Then he and Cordelia get out, easily just get through the gate. Like this is a military base that is holding all kinds of weapons. Like you can imagine by the thing that they got, maybe they have some pretty high-powered stuff in there, and they just kind of go around the gate. Like, well, why even have the gate?
Yeah.
Anyways, to his credit, Xander does call the security there a joke. So there you go. So he already knew. She wants to know her part again. He says, "Just a girl. You're just a girl." Also, again, she didn't look trashy at all, right? She looked
she looked more clothed there than she did in the library.
I have a very suspicious feeling what someone who wrote this show thought of being trashy. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
That's a whole nother discussion.
Yes. So they approach a secure door. We know it's secured because it says so on the door. Secure door. So, and then they get stopped by a soldier. Xander tells him he's on leave from the 33rd, and then explains he's giving Cordy the tour. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyways, asks him to cut him a little bit of slack. The soldier asks why, and then Xander tells him he won't tell that Colonel Newsome or whatever, somehow he knows the Colonel's name, and that his boots ain't regulation, his post wasn't covered, and he holds his gun like a sissy girl.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't think you say those things to people now. Anyways, the soldier says, the soldier just gets trashed and says, I'll give you 20 minutes. So that's nice. Xander says he'll only need 5, which is self-burn. You know what I mean? Inside, he tells Cordelia that he remembers everything about being a soldier from when he was turned into one on Halloween. So yes, something going in and stuff like that. it comes
I'm
up.
just saying that's what I joined you guys for.
Yes.
Yes.
You're just gonna show up every time he's a soldier. He remembers being a soldier.
Apparently.
Well, he does it a few times. I'm gonna say if that's true, well then Buffy, would have to remember what it's like to be, a Victorian lady or I guess a pre-Victorian lady and stuff like that. But wouldn't Willow know what it's like to be dead all the time? She was
Willow
a
would know what
ghost.
it's like to be a ghost. Yeah.
Not
great.
That she had to carry that inside her and never ever mention it.
I mean, she might, but she might. It might have been a weird sensation, but nothing else about Willow was changed in that episode.
I guess so.
She wasn't another person.
That's true.
Yeah, she was a ghost, but she wasn't like from another time or like Xander was a soldier. She was still Willow.
Yeah.
She was just a ghost.
Now, this when Xander gets turned to a soldier, supposedly that soldier outfit that he got also gave him the all the codes and layouts for that base, as well as a gun assembly, it seems, which is nice. So this slightly impresses Cordelia, which is nice. She wants to know if guns really do make girls want to have sex, and if they make him want to have sex.
I love his response.
Yeah, he explains that.
Yeah,
he's 17, and that looking at linoleum makes him want to have sex.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, nothing beats a good piece of linoleum sometimes. You know what I mean? Anyways.
Moving along.
Back at the van, Oz has a pertinent question for Willow. Yes, do you guys steal weapons from the army a lot? Willow explains that they don't have cable. So, which was a whole thing in the 90s, if I remember that. So would they have the WB then? Probably not. Was that a cable thing? I can't remember. Must have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the kids today probably have no idea what cable is.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah. So Willow then starts getting a little forward and asks if he wants to make out with her. It'll bide the time, I suppose.
I absolutely loved Oz's response to this.
Yeah, Oz proves he's a good man by telling her that he often thinks of kissing her during class, and that when he does, everything stops. But he doesn't want to kiss her right now because it seems she just wants to make her friend Xander jealous. And says, he wants to know when he's kissing her, she's kissing him. So he can wait. Yeah, and the look she's giving him is fantastic. And then he exits to go get the package, guys. Supposedly, we don't ever see it. Now, again, like we're just mentioning how everybody is like bang on in this episode. Like, like this becomes the most watched episode of Buffy. You figure everybody is nailing everything here. I'm just surprised they never carried it forward, like how they didn't get more people to the show. Anyways, didn't matter. It still runs for 6 more years. So Jenny, Buffy, and Giles enter Uncle Enyos' is that a hotel room or an apartment? Did he get an apartment? It seems like a strange hotel room. Anyways, we notice what is probably his body. They don't go and like really check it out. Buffy notices a message though, sprawled in blood on the wall. Another message, Adelia. This time also not so great. Saying, "Was it good for you too?" Written in poor Uncle Enyos' blood.
Yeah.
He didn't even bother to drink it. He just painted with it.
Yeah.
Anyways, Giles tells her that he's trying to make it harder on her, and Buffy says, "Well, it's not working. It's going to make it easier on her, and that she knows what she has to do. She's got to kill him, guys. She's gonna kill that angel for sure." Anyways, the judge informs them that he's finally ready.
He's like a 90s computer loading.
It's definitely it. He has that internet thing going too. Oh my god. Poor Spike has to stay behind. The package is brought to Giles' place then after that. Buffy says they'll go to the factory first, but need to know where to go if there's nobody there. Then Giles opens the box. Buffy seems to like what she sees, guys. Jenny then asks if she can do anything. Buffy says, "Get out," and Giles reiterates it, having her back. Good for him. Xander offers to explain how to use her new present, and it seems Buffy would like that very much, which is good. They head to the factory. No one's there. They can't think of anywhere people would gather. Since the bronze is closed again for the second day in a row, the bronze is closed. I have no idea why, but Oz has an idea of where to go if no one's at the bronze in Sunnydale. So we cut to, and I'm going to say this conservatively, it's a very peculiarly designed movie theater or shopping mall, but it's definitely both at the same time. The popcorn is in the middle of the mall, and it's outside where the tickets go. This thing made no sense. And there's these steps right above it, and that's how you get out. But the exit doors come in. There's a couple of things about this. It's like, guys, none of this is making sense to me.
And the fact that Sunnydale has a mall.
Oh, they got them all. Oh, they have them all, by the way. Anyways, yeah, so they, the judge shows up. Angel, Drew, some red shirts are with them. They go in through the exit door the wrong way. And then the judge immediately sees an older gentleman walking around, just zaps him. Nobody pays attention.
No one pays attention. Yeah. No one has any idea this is happening. And I'm like,
it's so strange.
What?
I think it's just to get a little serious for a minute. I think it's just a little bit of a note on how we as a society treat our elderly citizens. It's you can get zapped into oblivion right in front of a whole bunch of popcorn-loving lunatics in the middle of the night, and no one ever notices. I guess something like that. And anyways, Angel says, "Block the exits, boys." So there is clearly a female vampire with her. You know what I mean? Again, you thought Angel was a monster before. Well, now he's not, not recognizing people. Anyways, the Scoops have arrived now. Finally, Buffy gives them orders. She says she'll take out the Smurf. I should mention that because I forgot that she had said that, and I think I called the judge a Smurf on the last episode. So there you go. So maybe it was my head. The judge does a little chain zap. The energy thing going through it or whatever. It's like who was that DC bad guy who would have that lightning that would come?
That's like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, that could be it. Dude, that's I think a better thing.
The power comes out of it. Yeah.
Now this thing is, not they took out the older guy pretty easily, but all these other guys are just kind of standing there in place, and no one's really doing anything. No one's turning to ashes or anything. So this gives people time to shoot the judge with an arrow. Burning stops for a second. They look and they find Buffy with a crossbow. Yes. Classic. On top of the popcorn maker. That was in the middle of the mall, guys. The popcorn maker. Again, I'll just keep going crazy about it. So, actually, it's a good idea. That way you don't have to go into the movie theater and buy popcorn. You can just go to the mall.
Yeah.
I like it. Anyways, the judge reminds her once again that no weapon forged can stop him. So when Buffy says, "That was then," and pulls out a rocket launcher and says, "This is now." People start scattering. The Scoobies all just duck, which is smart, I guess. Angel and Cordelia run for it.
Drusilla.
Drusilla run for it. So the look on her face as she's running, she's just stone cold. So there's no emotion in her face at all.
Yeah.
Angel's like, oh boy. But yeah. Drusilla's just going downstairs. I really like that.
I love how the judge asks, "What is that?"
Yeah, what's that? What's that do? Yeah, and then we get charcoal judge everywhere. Thousands of little charcoaly bits. That's when Drusilla gets a little. You can see her get a little visibly upset by that, which her poor Armageddon didn't happen. Anyways, she runs away. Buffy wants the pieces gathered. Buffy's taking charge here too. She wants those pieces gathered, kept separate, in case he can reform. I think it'd be a very interesting reformation, if you ask me. Anyways, Cordelia not a fan of judge duty. I just wanted to say something like that. You know what I mean? Buffy spots Angel.
Either.
Yeah, Buffy is. There was a very significant lack of blood too. It was just bits everywhere. Anyways, you could probably leave a few pieces behind. You know what I mean? It's not what they're gonna do. Anyways, Buffy sees Angel escaping. She starts chasing after him. Somehow he gets the drop on her, and then after some, the typical back and forth they've had or whatever, Buffy informs them that his taunts won't work since he's not Angel. We get their first real fight together. Not an argument either. They went at each other. Angel takes an early advantage in the fight, but Buffy recovers. One of my favorite parts, busts his head through the front of the glass case and then out through the top of the glass case. I love that bit. Then we get a very Buffy thing. She pulls out the stake. She's ready to go, but hesitates. Angel smiles and says that she can't kill him. And then she, kicks him in a place where we have found out could very easily visibly hurt or physically hurt a vampire. We find that out very recently, if you know what I mean. She then turns her back on him and says, "Give me time," which is, again, if she can't do it, just go get somebody else. That's all I'm going to say. Anyways, this is the scene I was mentioning before about Giles. So he's driving Buffy home in the Giles mobile, guys. A 1963 Citroen DS. I'm not sure. That's got to be where you got the term lemon for a bad car, right? Citroen. I would imagine. I think it's spelled different. I think it's spelled differently though. Anyways, Giles is telling her why Angel will target her, and she only says, "You must be so disappointed in me." And he explains that he isn't, although she did act rashly, which is a very Giles thing to say. He knows she loved him, and that Angel proved he loved her, and that there was no way to know that would happen. He won't be there to guilt her, but he will be there to support her, and that he respects her. And Giles redeeming himself for a lot of shittiness that he's done in the past, I think.
Yeah, great scene. Scene.
It's very good, yeah.
Last scene here, it's Joyce and Buffy on the couch together watching an old movie. I didn't look up which old movie it was. I should have. Anyways, her mom puts a candle on a cupcake for her to blow out. Buffy tells her she's going to let it burn. Boy, what a fun episode, guys.
Oh, man.
Now, next time, guys, there's going to be a full moon, if you know what I mean, over Sunnydale.
Yeah.
Phases is the next episode. I love it. It's a murderer's known right now, like from the last couple episodes to like really since Ted, actually, to the end of this season. Is so good. So you're just gonna get heavy hitters after heavy hitters.
Also, here's a fun little detail.
Sure.
Did you notice what movie poster was up at the theater?
No.
I did. I can't. Oh, I thought I wrote it down and I didn't.
It gives you a sense of when this episode was made.
Right.
It's Quest for Camelot.
Ooh.
I thought that was interesting.
A movie.
I'm like, that makes me feel old now.
Yeah, that's what made. Oh, okay, that's adorable. Adorable. Quest for Camelot. I don't even remember that movie. To tell you the
It's
truth,
not that great.
I'm not sure I've ever heard of that movie.
It's not that great. The
no.
soundtrack is pretty good though.
Is that one of those the ones that Spielberg's Amblin or whatever did?
I don't remember what company did it.
It's not a Disney one that I
It's
wouldn't
an
believe.
animated film that tries to go very Disney, but
Yeah.
I mean, the most famous thing to come out of it is Josh Groban's song "The Prayer."
Ooh.
That's the most famous thing that comes out of it.
It's a Warner Brothers movie.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Now it makes perfect sense.
Uh-huh.
There you go. It would be interesting if it was like a Sony production or something like that. Something that wasn't from the WB. I'm sure.
It released in theaters May 15th, 1998.
Everybody knows that.
Well, it was promo because it wasn't out yet when this episode aired.
Ah, I see a little early advertising.
Unbelievable. May 15th. Oh, when is it? Oh, so if there's an episode May 15th, I'll make sure I write down that this is the week, finally. And Quest for Camelot premiered.
Not that good of a movie.
Quest for Camelot, fantastic. Brennan, anything else you'd like to say about Innocence?
This, I think, is a great example of what Buffy the Vampire Slayer is as a show. It's about these Armageddon type things. End of the world, demons, vampires. It's also about the troubles of being a teenager.
Yep.
And I think that this is a great example of combining those two elements. And it really does, I think, speak to some of the angst and problems that teenagers have. While also being about other big ideas. So it's a good episode. It's an iconic Buffy episode.
Also, like most teenage problems, you can take care of it with a rocket launcher.
Sure.
You know, you got a zit, rocket launcher.
Rocket launcher.
Yes. Adelia, any final thoughts?
I really like this episode. I really like the last couple episodes. You're right. Ever since Ted, it's been on a pretty good roll, and we're finally caught up to the part where I started watching. I remembered a lot of this episode as I was watching it. So, yeah, I feel like I know exactly what episode is coming next for the first time since we started this show. So,
well, maybe there'll be a couple surprises for you coming up. You never know. You never know. Face is fantastic, and of course, there's always got to be, something for everybody. It seems in Sunnydale. Can't have just a regular person in there. Anyways, it's a great episode. This was a fantastic episode, and it was fantastic having you with us, Brennan. Come back anytime. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you,
Adelia. I guess I should ask Brennan if you have anything going on in this here interwebs world.
My podcast, Page Turners They Were Not, which you can find on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Random Trek, which is our Friday episodes. And that's about it for me.
Sounds good. Adelia, how about you? I know you got a couple things happening now.
Yeah, well, this comes out on Thursday. So yesterday we released the latest episode of Nostalgia Crackdown featuring Brennan as our guest. We talked about the FCL, so do check that out. You can also find us here Thursdays, 3 p.m. Pacific on the Entertainment Channel with Rewatchers Council. Open Table is back 8 p.m. Pacific's Friday. Ferris and I will be sort of alternating the way the show goes every week, but I won't be on this week's show, but I will be back next week. And we've got the Starting 11 going on over on the Highlights channel, Euro and Copa America updates all throughout the summer. Do check that out. Me and Ferris doing that, and hopefully Snart can hop on an episode or two with us.
Yes.
And do subscribe to both the channels, please. We'd really appreciate it. We're getting closer to 1,000 subscribers on this channel. And we'd really like to hit that hopefully before the fall. So do subscribe. Thank you.
Yep, that'd be great. Also plug the merch, the merch site. Maybe I got a couple of things today. Maybe. Oh, look at that! How fancy! Now someone can meet the president. All right.
That's Let's Get Ready Networkshop.com.
I got a couple of things coming. You'll see. Anyways, they'll be pretty smart looking. And guys, as for me, this week, besides, well, of course, Rewatchers canceled. I'm just not sure of the date, but I will be discussing the Stanley Cup final. It'll be over. By the time you watch this, I'll either be very upset or just merely upset because, I don't like either of the teams in it. But if one team wins more than another, it would really make me mad. Anyways, we'll be talking all about that and what some people are considering the greatest Stanley Cup final ever. I do not, but
no, it's not.
We will talk about that. I will say that that game will be the most anticipated hockey game in 20 some odd years, Adelia. I think you may have an idea of the hockey game I'm thinking of. That is probably the most anticipated hockey game of all time. Anyways, watch it for that. There's lots of stuff coming up with the playoff periods. When I say lots of stuff, there's just a couple other shows. They got the draft coming up right away, and also free agency as well. And this is all happening within the week. Maybe we'll just bundle up into one extra episode. Who knows? Anyways, that's playoff periods. That's on the highlights. Now, LGRN After Snark on the weekends. That's my show with Danny. Lately, we've been also kind of shoehorning in a couple of reviews. Brennan, we've been talking about The Acolyte.
Yes, I've been in the chat with my eye on you guys.
That's a Star Wars program. I'm not sure how interested you'd be in it, but Star Wars seems to be a fairly popular.
Maybe a little.
Yeah, it would be hard to believe that sometimes people have to remember how popular Star Wars is, just the way some people act sometimes. But anyways, we'll also be talking about The Boys as well. That's weekends. You can watch us do it live. If you have questions, like Brendan, you can say it to us live, and we just clip them out. We'll release them from there. We got some new graphics for it, which look pretty fun. Speaking of graphics, we still have a intro and outro for this show.
No.
Adelia, what in the world is this? What in the world is this? The show that built the network, if you ask me. Just kidding. So, guys, I just want to say again, thanks for showing up. Great. I had such a fun time talking about Innocence with you. So many great episodes to come. We'll be back. Guys, until then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.